What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Today, I took my daughters to a baseball game. I haven't been to a baseball game since I was a young teenager, so this brought back some memories. It also reminded me of one of the holy grails that EM collectors look for. The 1937 Rockola World Series. Now, Rockola in the 30s was making pins just like everybody else. They wanted to cash in on the new fad in entertainment. As they were jukebox manufacturers, they also branched out into amusement devices. That was pretty common, especially in the 30s. The Rockola World Series from 1937 is not in a standard pinball cabinet. Instead, it's in a beautiful jukebox cabinet, upright, with a playfield in the area where the jukebox mechanism would be. At the top, there is a topper, which is glass, and it's quite fetching. So, the game itself is incredibly intricate inside, but the gameplay is that of a pitch and bat. The umpire will feed a ball to the pitcher, who will then throw it to you, the batter, and your control is making the bat swing. This is very similar to a standard pitch and bat. The only difference is the incredible level of detail. So you have actual painted figures on the playfield, and each one represents a fielder, either infield or outfield, and the outfielders move. So if an outfielder catches a ball, then you'll get an out. The umpire even lifts his arms to the right or to the left if you get a ball or a strike. How incredible. It's quite fascinating the way this whole thing works. The game can keep track of up to 4 balls per player and up to 3 strikes, and then it'll convert that to an out. The amazing thing is it also knows to change batters when you get a hit. So if you manage to make it past all the infield and outfielders and into the far wall, you'll score either a single, double, or triple, depending on which kind of niche that you fall into there. The game will drop balls into a scoreboard to show you if you've got a ball, a strike, an out, or a run, or just a base hit. So it knows after you get batters on 3 of the bases that the next hit is going to trigger a run. Depending on which kind of hit you get, if you get a triple, for example, it will advance the balls 3 spaces in the slot that it makes for runs and will score 3 points. It's pretty amazing to watch. It's a fascinating mechanism, and it's all controlled by weight. So there's a series of counterbalances in there, and as the balls outweigh the piece of metal that they land on, it will drop to the next level. So 4 balls advance you to the next base, 3 strikes and you're out, and so forth. The game also, in a just fascinating and uniquely 1930s touch, will show you the batter as one of the batters from the 1937 World Series. And as you score runs, it'll switch that batter to another name. And that's on some form of rolling mechanism. It's just a wheel that spins and shows you the next batter. Once again, I just have to say I'm so greatly impressed with the attention to detail and the beauty of this game. I can't stress enough that everyone should go and spend about 15 minutes of their life and look at both parts of the video uploaded by collector Kevin Keinert on YouTube. He shows you everything about the mechanisms in the game as well as the gameplay. This is on a restored 1937 Rockola World Series. If I were to be so lucky as to own one of those one day, I don't know what I would do. They're incredibly rare, and they're in the hands of collectors around the country, probably around the world, but there's not many of them out there, so they command an incredibly high price. But when you see just how amazingly beautiful this game is, it'll be on your wish list as well. Even if you don't particularly like sports, like myself. I'm not a sports guy. I don't really care for most sports. Baseball is interesting because it's stat driven. I do love me some math. So I find the engineering and the balance involved in this game and the way that they created the mechanisms completely fascinating, especially in keeping with the rules of baseball. It's quite surprising that they were able to do this with a motor, essentially, and that's basically it. And the rest is all just a series of pressure plates. So again, please check it out. Even if you just see the first part, it's worth it. And the first part is 15 minutes long. I guess both together are about 30 minutes. But it's well worth a watch. Watch the first couple minutes and you'll see exactly what I mean. In a later episode detailing other pitch and bat games, I'll talk more about the other World Series games. There have been many that were made over the years, especially in the 1930s, but none rival the 1937 World Series made by Rockola. And I'd like to say that's opinion, but unfortunately, it's just fact. Once you see it, you'll understand. Well, thank you for listening. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com. You can find us online at foramusementonly.libsyn.com. And you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS. We're on Facebook. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.